I'm making a big change to how I investigate your sleep case. Instead of piecing together four separate labs, I'm now using one lab company that gives me more detailed clues about what's sabotaging your sleep. This new testing is more accurate, it's more comprehensive, and it gives me everything I need to find and fix the root causes of your sleep issues. If you've been struggling to sleep despite trying everything, this could reveal the missing pieces you've been looking for. I'm Martha Lewis, aka the Sleep Detective. I'm a functional health coach, and I've helped over 200 clients find and fix the root causes of their health issues so they can consistently sleep 7 to 9 hours naturally. Now, for the past 6 years, I've been using the same lab test, and I have a 95% success rate in the Complete Sleep Solution program. But I found a new lab testing company that I've been using with clients for the past few months, and I'm now officially transitioning to these tests. So in this video, I'm going to briefly explain why. And there are honestly two main reasons why I'm switching. The first reason is for convenience. So, like I said, I was using four different labs from four different companies before. And so, my clients were getting four different test kits, four different instructions, four different mailing envelopes to mail the labs back to, and it was a lot. And so when I found this company where I can get the same information, but from one company, it's going to be so much easier, right? Because you're going to get one test kit in the mail. And instead of taking different urine samples for different tests, they're going to combine for the tests that involve urine. You can test hormones and neurotransmitters and toxins in that same urine. So you don't have to take all these different samples to send back to all these different labs. So it is so much easier and convenient for my clients. Of course, that's going to make it easier for my team and me as well, because we just place one quick order. But I'm really excited about how much easier it's going to be for my clients. Now, the second reason is that there is more information and better accuracy of these tests for about the same cost. So, for example, the gut health test I've been using is called the GI map. It's been a great test. It has definitely helped my clients and helped me find out what is affecting their sleep, according to their gut health. But Vibrant Wellness has a test called the Gut Zoomer. So this looks at way more, first of all, organisms. It's testing for way more. For example, for pathogens, it's testing for 66 different pathogens versus the GI map was just looking at 27. So it's the only test that looks at parasitic worms. It has more comprehensive detection for viruses. It has more parasitic protozoa, and it has more fungal species than the GI map. It's also been shown to be more accurate for these pathogens. So they have a 99% specificity, which means it's very accurate in the specific organism that it's testing. 98% sensitivity, which means it can detect things at very low levels as well. So it's very sensitive. And there are just more markers overall. There are 150 beneficial bacteria, whereas with the GI map, there were only, I want to say, like a dozen, and 76 harmful species. And this test, the Gut Zoomer, is just also more comprehensive for overall gut health. It gives a lot more information than the GI map does. So I'm really excited to be using this test. The second test called the Hormone Zoomer. So I've been using the Dutch, which is an amazing test to look at hormones. The Hormone Zoomer is very similar to the Dutch test. It's looking at your sex hormones and how they're being metabolized. It's looking at cortisol, especially your cortisol pattern throughout the day. It's looking at liver function because it's showing how those hormones are being broken down. But this test also has more information. It has some bone health markers, and it shows different endocrine disruptors or hormone disruptors that are affecting hormones. So again, very similar test, but with a little more information for the same cost. Now, Vibrant Wellness also has a neurotransmitter test. So I have been using a neurotransmitter test that had 8 markers. So it had important things like serotonin, GABA, dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, glutamate, and histamine, all which can affect sleep. But the neurotransmitter test by Vibrant Wellness has 30 markers. So it has all of those that the other test had, plus things like glycine and taurine and acetylcholine that also affect sleep. And it also shows some of those neurotransmitter metabolites. And you take 4 samples throughout a day instead of just 1 sample. So we're getting a more accurate average of what those neurotransmitters are throughout the day. And some of them we're seeing those, different points throughout the day, especially stress hormones. So while the hormone zoomer that I just talked about is looking at cortisol, in the neurotransmitter test, we're able to see other stress hormones like epinephrine and norepinephrine and their pattern throughout the day as well. So again, just a lot more information, a lot more markers for the same cost. And then the last test that I am super excited to add by Vibrant Wellness is called the Total Tox Burden. So previously, I was looking at heavy metals through the hair tissue mineral analysis. And now I can test for heavy metals directly through urine with this total tox burden. Previously, I was screening for symptoms of mold toxicity. Now this test includes a direct mycotoxin test. So mycotoxins are the toxins that are created in the body by mold, and they are excreted in our urine. And so this has a very comprehensive look at a couple dozen different mycotoxins. So whereas before I was saying, okay, if one of my clients had a lot of the symptoms of mold toxicity, then I might recommend an additional mycotox test that was only looking for about 7 markers. Whereas this one is looking for far more than that. And I'm just gonna test for that right off the bat. So instead of trying to screen for that, I'm just going to test immediately. And then the total tox burden also looks at environmental chemicals. So things like, or environmental toxins. So things like BPA and glyphosate and all kinds of different things. So because so often sleep issues are caused by inflammation and toxicity, and all of those toxins put this extra burden on the liver that then also affects sleep, this is helping pinpoint those things right away so that we can see in a more comprehensive way what is also affecting sleep. So by looking at all of these things, by looking at gut health, by looking at hormones, by looking at neurotransmitters, by looking at all these different types of toxins, it gives me so many different pieces of the puzzle as to what's affecting your sleep. So I'm super excited to be using these. Again, it's more convenient and these tests are more accurate and more comprehensive for the same cost. So when you bundle all of these tests together, it comes out to be just a little over $1,000, $1,060 to be exact. Whereas before the 4 tests I was doing were just under $1,000. So it's $60 extra, but to get so much more information, I think it's totally worth it. So if you are ready to get to the bottom of your sleep issues once and for all and get back to sleeping normally again, these tests will help. And this is what I use in my programs. You are welcome to schedule a free consultation with me. That's the first step to get started. So that way we can meet each other. I can start to pinpoint what's affecting your sleep, explain how the program works, and then you feel 100% confident getting started. You can book a consultation at the link in the show notes. Thank you for listening. I hope you are as excited about these tests as I am, and I will talk to you soon.